And then, let's see. We go widescreen and boom shakalaka. What is going on, everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love, and I am joined today by Andy Lee and Mike Nguyen from Eloncity. What's going on, guys?
Life is good.
Indeed.
For others is better.
Oh,
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I told Randall that he should be on the beach, not behind that poster.
yep. Well, as soon as crypto goes up, once we have those $100,000 bitcoins, I will be on the beach.
Your, your own beach, right? Your own beach, your own island.
Well, I think by that point there will be so many crypto millionaires that there won't be many many beaches left to buy.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, for the spirit of the community, it should be a community blockchain beach where we all share the beach together.
That would be awesome. We'll just have to get some girls to come too, because as far as I know, it's all guys in crypto.
Okay.
Yeah. So welcome both of you. Today we're talking about Eloncity, and there's an airdrop happening during this thing for everyone commenting. So I want you guys to fill us in on that. But also tell us a little bit about yourselves.
This is Andy. I've been working for the network industry for the past 20 years. So we started in the idea of using the content and deliveries to change the power infrastructure we have, and the ultimate result will be millions of the self-sufficient microgrid, and then lighter traffic is on the backbone or it's in the transmission wire, and then the people get to use locally produced renewable energy at a much lower cost.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So where did the name come where did the name come from for Eloncity? Does it have anything to do with Elon Musk and Tesla and everything like that?
Well, first of all, there is an Eloncity in Northern Carolina. For you, it's not far away from Chapel Hill, by the way. And second of all, yes, and we share a lot of with Mr. Musk, specifically power the world with renewable energy. But what we believe in is having the renewable to, for everybody, we can just make people pay more for renewable energy. The financial crisis since 2008, and we've been printing money all over the places, right? And then people get less disposable incomes, and you can expect people to pay more for the renewable energy. So the idea behind is while Tesla Energy is taking the top-down approach by asking people to pay a little bit more for the renewable, we goes from the bottom up and the grassroots approach that make sure that we find a way to streamline the local generation, the conversion cost, and so we can have the renewable energies at a much lower cost. So that's the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I also like to add. Mr. Elon Musk, he's really an incredible gentleman, very talented. But we admire him for his tenacity, his courage to tackle some of the world's biggest problems. He's talked about how to relocate 1 million people to Mars. He worked on using a renewable rocket that land vertically that nobody has done before, and he successfully done that. And he's working on a boring project, looking at how to move people underground subway around like 500 miles an hour. So this is really some of a tremendous challenge, but his courage, his tenacity to tackle those problems really admire us. And I think we want to honor that spirit, because what we try to do with Eloncity to make sure that clean, renewable energy is available to everyone. We feel that we will also tremendous challenge, both in terms of not only technology, but financing, regulatory, community engagement. I think we would need a lot of courage. And so we honor that spirit, and we want to. I think that's one of the reasons this project is called Eloncity.
Again, the centralized approach. I mean, the world has changed. It's no longer that everything is mind and concept, right? We have to learn how to share everything. So the decentralized is an approach will definitely get us into the goals is much faster. So basically, for the past 20 years or so, we spent $1 trillion, and then where are we now? We're only 1% in terms of renewable energy. If you're discounting hydropower, but why? This is only 1%. Because majority of the renewable power are wasted. They don't produce. I mean, the sun, well, the solar, the PV doesn't produce the energy in the night. The wind in general doesn't produce any energy until late in the night. Well, unfortunately, modern society, our highway system, our office hours, school hours, put us in the tightest spots, and where we usually use energies right about 3 or 8 o'clock in the night. But during this time of the period, none of those renewable sources are working. Well, other than the hydropower, right? So if we're going to continue this way without relying further on the fossil energy, we need to do something about our infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. All right. So how exactly does Eloncity work, like from start to finish? Because you're mostly working with solar panels right now. So how exactly does it go from beginning to end?
Well, so we don't have to reinvent in this PV panel industries. And penetration to some states is already 14-15%. The setback is in the installation cost on the rooftop panel is very, very expensive, and you have to have this the staff and going out of the roof and second time to install the panel. You have to buy an additional leak insurance. Because of the worry on the policy, you end up paying a significant amount of interest because of a higher interest rate. People realize this is not going to be for the policy change, people might default in their payment, and that's the reason why the loan to the rooftop has been very, very expensive. But even with having the rooftop panel, unfortunately, as we went earlier, then the panel doesn't produce the energy as we need it. So what happened is we definitely need a lot of energy storage. That way, when the sun's producing power and then we don't use them, we can store them. And then when we use them in the night, they will discharge to power the home. But how much battery is enough? People say, well, I might need 3 days of a battery because in 2 days in the road and the sun is nowhere to be seen, right?
Yep.
But not everybody. Well, to be a little joking, Mr. Musk can afford a lot of batteries, but not everybody. So we need to figure out how to share the battery, how to take advantage the networking again, quote unquote, reasonable size of the networking. So then the battery can be shared, and nobody has to purchase extra amount of the batteries, and then having them sitting idle most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also like to add what Andy shared. Today we have technology to produce energy that you need to invest tremendously amount in the infrastructure, and it can cost a lot of money. And decentralized renewable energy, this is not new. People try to do that for many, many years, including advanced area like California, which I have been working over the past few years. But the reason we can't do that, because we lack the mechanism, the platform where people can share the cost and benefit effectively. So Eloncity basically take what is available, renewable and decentralized renewable energy technology to enable people to produce energy exactly when and where they are needed. But what is added to this equation is a blockchain platform that allow people in a community to effectively share the cost and benefit of this type of investment more equitable, in more transparent manner, so people feel at ease to share not only the community, but of course even the investment community. They want to make sure the cost benefit will be shared equitably. And so this is where the Eloncity use those decentralized technology coupled with the blockchains technology to really enabling that collaborative renewable energy economy. This is really the significantly breakthrough. So how do you do that? You take technology like what Andy say, available battery solar system, but then you add that the blockchain hardware and software system really allow people to share this resource, to trade energy with each other, and then make sure that they will be compensated fairly.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is the idea of decentralized energy has been around for a while, but it's only with the advent of blockchain technology and the use of blockchain technology that it can actually be put into use?
Become a community-driven solution. You see solar system, you see people talk about microgrid for ages, for last 20, 30 years, microgrid. But how do you make this microgrid to be a community-owned, community-share? This is where the innovation happening. I think the innovation not only at the technology level, but at the social community development level to truly make share resource truly become available. And you see a lot of share economy now, Airbnb, Uber, where, there's no single centralized entity own all the assets. The assets is owned by the community, but the community share that somehow. So that way you can spread out your costs and your benefit out to much wider community, and that way you enable more people to participate in this type of economy. So this is where that's
wonderful. So as I've read some white papers on decentralized energy, I mean, they make the point that energy is a really great blockchain, something really great to have on the blockchain because it's fungible. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 kilowatt hour, and it works really well on the blockchain. But there are a lot of other energy blockchain projects out there like Power Ledger, like WePower, like Irene Energy. So how does Eloncity compare with these and contrast with these?
Well, so the blockchains give us the priceless trust, the price and transparency, and then possibility the adding the artificial intelligence to get the price equilibrium, right? But the in the end of the day, energy is energy. Energy has a flow as well, right? What do you want to have in the energy flows from one to the other? And so it's not just in the trading platform. You actually have to have the clear infrastructures that guide how the energy flow. So then once we add to the blockchain, it will make us take back the control on how and when and then where to build the infrastructure.
Yeah. Also to add, those projects you mentioned, for example, Power Ledger or WePower, those are really a great energy blockchain project. WePower really provide an incredible way to finance renewable energy project, crowd-based. Power Ledger provide really powerful software, allow people to trade, and then maybe you got another few other projects like Energo. They also provide similar software platform like Power Ledger and maybe some even EV charger, battery charger. But what the community needs, they really need a turnkey solution from A to Z, because energy is quite complex. Not only the financial is complex, but technology is very complex. And when you add on top of that the regulatory barrier, then it got really nearly impossible for any community to do this on their own. So Eloncity really recognizes, and we put together a complete model with 4 dimensions: technology dimension, the project financing dimension, the community development and engagement, because you want all the community to participate, to work together. And then you got a regulatory dimension. So you need to get all of this dimension to work together. Energy project. So that's what Eloncity does. We provide those all 4 dimensions. Of course, people can do that. If you really want to do that on your own, you can spend a lot of time figure out yourself how to do that. But if something happened, something wrong with the battery system, then who do you call? Do you call Tesla or do you call LG? If financing doesn't work out well, who do you contact? And if you didn't comply with a certain regulatory issue, who do you work with? So this is Eloncity recognizes, our objective is to make it easy for community to embrace renewable energy in the simplest manner. So our solution integrate everything from the beginning to end. Like I say, the other projects are really a wonderful energy blockchain project, but they just only provide a partial solution. So Eloncity try to solve all of that in one single integrated model.
Rindo, as we indicated earlier, renewable energy usually doesn't produce in the right time. So if you carefully study the energy prices, and you're probably not going to be hard for you to find most of the renewable energy operated with negative margin, or with some sort of government subsidy. So simply turn the PPA into the crowd sales, and it's not going to help anything. Fundamentally, so as Michael indicated, the 4 pillar solutions that we can finally make renewable energy affordable. That's the only way we can get this going.
Yeah, and even not only just the other dimension, but even, let's say, for example, within one dimension like technology, Eloncity, working with our partner over the past 4 years, we developed technology, intelligent battery storage together with renewable generation, with wind turbine, solar, with energy management system. So even within the technology dimension, you have a full suite of solution, again, from the beginning to end. Because you imagine if we give to you, Rando, ask you, hey, can you go out to Home Depot, buy your own solar panel, and then order online some battery, and then get on a certain website, order your software, and you try to integrate it yourself. You can imagine the difficulty that you have, especially when things do not work. And this is certainly something you don't want to do when the investment level is in the order of 100,000, if not millions of dollars at the community level. So we really emphasize, make sure the solution works from the beginning to end, even within the technology dimension. And this is what Andy's team has been working over the past 4 years to really help people have a full suite of technology to help them to become a fully energy independent. So that's the technology dimension. So now in this coming phase, the second phase, we begin to integrate the community, the finance, and the regulatory to support the technical pillar to make sure things work seamlessly.
Okay. Before we go any further, a lot of people are asking how they participate in the airdrop. So can you go over that real quickly?
Oh, you got me. Well, the only thing we know is that we have to remind people how to do the airdrop.
I think the window, probably the airdrop window will probably open roughly about maybe 5 or 10 minutes before this interview closed. I think that's where they log on, and I think they scan the QR code, on the announcement, yeah, I think they have to scan that.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what they have to do. But I think that window would not be open until about 5 to 10 minutes before the interview is about to close.
Okay, yeah, so they can go on Twitter, find that stuff, find the instructions for all that. All right,
yes,
perfect. Now, you're talking about how difficult it would be for someone to purchase their own solar panel and then their own battery and then their own software. So do you have these set up already? Do you have a working prototype, working cities? I mean, where are you in development?
So we have in the intelligence, the energy storage system. What we're trying to do is hopefully reinvent it in how the systems gets delivered. We're going to try. So Eloncity is a nonprofit. We don't make any money out of those equipment. We designed into everything, and then other than the PV. Out of the PV panel and the battery cell, we designed everything from all this hardware and the endpoint and bus, and the trading software and the algorithm that runs this artificial intelligence to help select the pricing range. So these will be all loyalty free to the community. And we also work with the PV panels and the batteries manufacturers. And make sure these can be purchased without the middlemen in between. So that way, the community, the developer, the co-op, and the CCA, they can buy the equipment at a much lower cost to build in the network.
And I think I'm pretty sure in our community, or maybe after this AMA, we can provide some link to the site of our customer who has been using our technology over the past 4 years. They use our technology, our solution, our integrated solution to manage their on-site renewable generation, the generator, the battery, low demand energy management system, and they're able to operate completely independent off grid. So we have some of the videos, some story to show how this are working. And right now, we continue to work with those customers, those community. Now we try to connect, one household or one building to another one, so allow them to trade. So this is this work is right now is in progress right now. So hopefully, as we get more of this project, we're gonna post the video online so that the community member can see how it works. But coming back to your question, how does people participate in Eloncity? If you're looking to make your own home or your own office just to become energy independent by yourself, then of course some of the existing solutions like Solar City, Tesla will be good enough. But if you really want to look at how do you trade energy with your neighbor, with people in your community, that's where Eloncity solution come in. So hopefully pretty soon we will release more information and more paper to show you how to do that. And hope we target within the next 12 to 18 months, we can provide a sample how to do it, recipe, including video, so that a community can get together and duplicate and replicate this type of Eloncity model in their own community.
Okay, great. On your website, the tagline under Eloncity says, "Power the world for free." So how are you going to power the world for free?
Well, we were given the solar energy for free anyway from the sun, right? Mm-hmm. We merely to make the conversion cost minimized, which means the PV panel, to the wind turbines, to the batteries that are charging and discharging, and then eventually the different form of the power, right? Alternative currents versus interacting currents. So Eloncity basically is trying to make this conversion costs minimized in a way that the free energies can be converted into the form that we can use, into the form of the energy we can use at a much lower cost, at least much lower than what we paid in today's from the utility. Rendell, one thing that really embarrassing to say, in California, in Texas, these days, you pay more delivery charge for than the energy itself. I mean, it's ironical, I know. 130 years ago, the only reason why Thomas Edison lost in the DC world into the Tesla was it because of we need to build a centralized, much more efficient power plant, right? Or Niagara Fall, and you get that for free as well. But if in the economy of the scale that we gain from the centralized power plant can justify the network itself, then why do we build a centralized power plant in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in other words, is that if we do this incorrectly, and the sharing of resource to allocate costs out effectively and produce the energy only when and where you need, and not having any wastage, you practically will be able to power the world virtually for free. Maybe maybe we add that word just to clarify that.
Well, hopefully it's just going to be lower and lower, and then pretty soon it becomes negligible, right? I mean, I want to make an example. It's back into 1995, the former chairman and the CEO of the Cisco system made a really bold suggestion that the phone call one day will be free. So looking, 20 years is after after the comment, right? Today, honestly, we care less about this and how much we pay for the phone call, other than the mobile data, though.
Yeah, exactly.
The otherwise is we can care less about the cost needed to make a phone call, right? We're hoping that one day we can care less about the energy we use, and then enjoy the life and with what energy can bring to us.
Mm-hmm. Now, in your white paper and also on your website, you talk a lot about DC power versus AC. Is Eloncity only going to be working with DC power? And what's the, for people who don't know that much about it, like myself, what's the difference and what's the benefit?
Well, so the most of your appliances today are DC anyway. Your digital appliances, and the TV, your computer, your pad, and your phone. These are all DC form anyway. But very recently, less than 5-10 years, most of the motor that we use becomes in the DC drive as well, the so-called variable frequency drive. Or if you see that your appliance has an inverter, that means these are the DC drives. So the distributed generation, or specifically like in these wind turbine and the rooftop and solar, they're producing DC energy anyway. But so if we convert that to AC, we connect it to what's supposed to be the AC appliances, and then internally we convert it back into DC. We convert them back and forth, and then we lost as much as 17% of the energy. So we were proposing, hey guys, look, if we can simply do a small change, right? Don't use an inverter, just bring that DC directly to your appliances. Take the rectifier out of the appliances. You get 17% more energy. Then that will make our locally produced and renewable energy much more competitive. So that's the whole idea. Don't get us wrong. No, actually, Eloncity's and the loyalty-free hardware, including the power conversion system, and then it allow you to convert the energy into the AC form, and then connect into your existing circuit panel, and then power to whatever it is you have in at home today. But we were just trying to help people understand, in reality, most of your appliances are actually DC, not AC.
Okay, cool. So The next question that I have for you is, how does the Eloncity token work in the ecosystem?
Well, I'm gonna give this question to Michael.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So Eloncity token, there's two things. One is within the community, when the community member does energy exchange, they will use the ECT as a medium of exchange. You know, for example, for you, Randall, you have your solar panel on your rooftop, you generate, and since you don't use all those energy, I am your neighbor and I would like to buy from you. So as I buy those energy, you will accumulate ECT in your wallet. And that's great. You can either cash out, you know, go for to get a beer, to do whatever you would like. If you want to upgrade your system, you want to buy additional PV panel, you want to buy maybe electric bike, or you want to buy more intelligent battery. So you can accumulate those ECT in your wallet, and when you're sufficient, then hopefully you can buy those renewable energy equipment from Eloncity Marketplace, which is a global marketplace where we try to bring a technology solution provider together with the energy prosumer, so product and good and service can be exchanged with each other, you know, through ECT. So ECT, like I say, it allow a member within the community to trade energy with each other and using ECT as the unit of exchange. And then also the ECT will also help them to connect to solution manufacturer all over the world. And for us in the US, you know, sometimes we take it for granted because we can buy things relatively easy. But if you put yourself into one of those village, the community in a remote area, let's say somewhere in Africa, in South America, in the Amazon, where you don't readily have access to the world economy, and you may not have access to the US dollar or have access to the Japanese yen or the Chinese renminbi to buy those advanced equipment. Without access to those foreign currency would be a major problem. So ECT really provide a universal token, allow this remote village to connect to a more advanced economy, advanced solution provider around the world to get access to more advanced solution and technology. So it's really a critical a medium of exchange that allow people to connect together to each other. And of course, in addition to the medium exchange, for the short term, ECT also can work as the storage of value, because like you say, you store your renewable energy in your battery. That is stored and it's account with ECT. You know, so that is a unit for accounting as well. And there's a different mechanism that we use to make sure that the value of the ECT is stable, and it continues to appreciate for the ECT investor. You know, we have plasma and sidechain protocol, where we hold the token for a certain period to ensure that you can have a stable transaction. And you know, as you hold those token, that also help you to manage the velocity of your token is in circulation. That in combination that you hold your token to save so that you can buy a product in the future. So those are different mechanisms to help you to manage the supply of token in circulation, which in turn have a significant impact on the value of your token. And this is important for ECT investor, people who buy in the Eloncity token, and hope that it would appreciate that in the future. So those are the things we do. But ultimately, the token, how big we can create this market, the global marketplace where people begin to use renewable energy and begin to trade energy with each other. The more community adopt this model, the bigger the market become, and as the market become bigger, the value of the token also will increase. So this is the fundamental effort that we have to work together with community around the world to make sure that the market will continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. Great. I saw you just posted on Twitter not too long ago that Fenbushi Capital has joined you as a partner, which is awesome. Congratulations. And you also have some other partners like CyberMiles and ArcBlock. So can you talk a little bit about your partnerships and how they're working with you?
So CyberMiles is the blockchain technology that builds for the e-commerce, and honestly, it's in the trade of an energy isn't um, the internet economy as well. So we use in the cyber miles as in technology, and then so each of the side chain will be corresponding to a microgrid. And then we use the cyber miles to prevent, I'm sorry, we're using the plasma to prevent the double spending. And Akabrock was in, our closest alliances. In the futures and what Akabrock can do is Akabrock can see what's going on the blockchain, right? And then the applications it can work with some other gateways to collaborate in the two. So some of the foundations will be responsible to create all the hardware and then the software for the infrastructure. However, we're expecting a lot more developers will use Octoblock as an open chain and access protocol to build a value added to the application, using the infrastructure, and then helping people live wisely.
Yeah. I also like to add to what Andy just shared. Maybe I just sidetrack a little bit. In addition to CyberMile and ArtBlock, all of us, all of these three companies, including Eloncity, we're part of this community called the Crypto, which is they have all of this sister, we call it sibling, a blockchain project, and CyberMile is one of them. ArtBlock is one of them. Eloncity is one of them. So we consider like we one big crypto family. And so it really allows us to share our technology, our expertise. Eloncity has a really strong knowledge in the energy field. And then CyberMile, they have really strong knowledge in Ethereum plasma technique that allow us to really to do a lot of off-chain computational law. Really allow us to process it, because Ethereum sometimes is not able to process a high volume, high speed transaction. So with the plasma technique, through the collaboration with CyberMile, we are able to create a very powerful platform that support a very high speed, high volume energy transaction in the community. And I think, Andy, is it like we would be able to go like 2.5 million transactions per second? Is that correct?
Well, actually, it's going to be more because it's the number of in the microgrid.
Yeah, so that is the collaboration with CyberMile to help us to develop and integrate the plasma technique into our Eloncity blockchain platform. And then ArtBlock, of course, with all the other things they do, one of the most critical thing that they help us to do is to really create a universal open chain access protocol. Because for energy, you need a lot of solutions, not only just intelligent battery storage. You need load management, you need EV charging management. In the future, you name it, could be weather forecasting, all kinds of things going on. So of course, Eloncity team, we will not be able to develop all of these things. So all of this application by ourselves. So we look to collaborate with other blockchain projects. So with ArtBlock, Open Chain Access Protocol, really create a universal interface to allow applet from a different blockchain platform to seamlessly plug into Eloncity ecosystem. Yeah, so to really facilitate that collaboration, really make sure that we have a very an eco-rich, application-rich ecosystem for our energy consumer.
That's great. And 2.5 million transactions per second is no joke. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that, like I say, I mean, I really have to take a hat off to the crypto family that really facilitate this kind of collaboration. I think that's really incredible.
Mm-hmm. Great. So what have you got upcoming? What's coming up in your roadmap?
Well, so as Michael explained earlier, we spent 4 years developing an energy storage solution. and we are coming into the well, actually, so we're firing for UL certification, and then we are selecting to the beta side to build the prototype and well, and so next in 24 months, we're going to build a lot of those network, and then study those is to make sure our software runs flawlessly. I mean, if there's an exception, how the operators should look in how to fix those an exception, and then well, particularly if when we shouldn't fix those exceptions so that will never happen again on the field, right? But we also need to develop the standard operations, and so the operators knows how to deal with these problems, right? And put them into the guided book, and as Michael indicated, it's an A to Z guide. So then you know how to where to purchase those equipment. You know how to build those equipment. I mean, how to build them up. You know how to operate them, and then you don't need Eloncity to replicate them. You can basically build them everywhere in the world. So what do we believe is in 24 months from now, we should see Eloncity microgrids gets replicated in a lot more faster than the traditional way to build an energy project.
Great, great. So, anything else that you guys wanted to discuss today? Anything that I didn't cover?
Well, again, we want to take this opportunity to stress the idea that having people pay more for renewable energy is a bad idea. We don't have that much of a disposable income, right? So even we can make the renewable energy even more affordable, there's no reason people won't support it. As we indicated earlier, during the conference call, for the past 20 years, we spent $1 trillion and we only get to 1%. How can we get them faster? I mean, how can we make clean electricity the primary source of an energy on Earth? So we want to take this opportunity to appreciate the love and Rendell, and then help us in tell us a lot of people in the world that we're not that far away from the self-sufficiency, and then renewable energy can be cheaper.
Oh, one thing before we get too far, just gonna remind. Would you help us to remind the community that they should begin to participate in the airdrop?
Yes, and everyone should begin to participate in the airdrop. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, make sure they scan the QR code so they can participate.
Cool, cool. Scan the QR code. I'm gonna actually. I mean, they've been blowing up the chat box here, so I want to go through there and see if there are any questions from there to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. A lot of people saying they love Eloncity. So
well, we're in crypto love
about
right?
the token sale. When does it start? Is there a minimum purchase? Those types of things.
I believe it's on the Eloncity.io website and has a lot more information. And then we will send an update to the website and helping everybody to participate.
Wonderful. Wow. Let's see. How does this project work? So, oh yeah. So, what countries or what areas or cities are you planning on implementing this stuff in?
Well, so primarily it will be in United States, and then we actually have been doing quite a bit of work in Mexico. Well, we enjoy the beach as well.
Yeah.
And then it's not just the places with a lot of sunshine that can use renewable energy. Take an example of the city of Toronto. City of Toronto is an amazingly clean city. For every kilowatt hour of energy, it only produces 5 grams of carbon dioxide. But the problem is the 55% of the energy comes from nuclear. 30% is coming out from the hydros, and a little bit over is from the wind. So a very, very small amount that comes from, I would guess it's probably gas and peaking. So that's what it produces in the carbon dioxide. The biggest problem is most of the nuclear and most of the nuclear power plants, they produce energy at a fixed rate. I mean, even when you are sleeping. So the city of Toronto actually spends 1.5 billion dollars in each year to dump them wanted energy from their power plant, right? If we can build the Eloncity's model throughout for the community in Toronto, and then store those energies during the off and peak hour, and then use those energies in the peak hour, then you have to cost the taxpayers $1.5 billion each year, and then on top of this, we can afford to use more electrical application to replace the fossil energy. So we look at this way, we will develop into the areas where there's not necessary powered by the solar panel. It could be powered by clean energy as well. I mean, except we again balance the supply and demand.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I saw.
I also to add what Andy shared. Where would we develop in which country? We can look at a little bit. Of like area that lack electricity service, remote area, the area where the grid doesn't happen. Like Andy shared with you, we do a lot of work in Baja California, where villages completely isolated by themselves on some beautiful beachfront or some desert community where there's no grid service there. So those areas we serve, we look into, including Africa, possibly Nigeria, place in Asia, a place where they lack basic electricity service. And then, but those underdeveloped area or country, those are not only the area that Eloncity we go to, we also go to very advanced developed, and they explain to you, California is one of the very advanced economy, has a very advanced grid infrastructure. But the problem with centralized grid is that sometimes the centralized grid is unable to deliver the energy when and where they are needed due to the constraint in the transmission and distribution capacity of the wire system. Like a place as California, very advanced, or even New York, very advanced, has very advanced infrastructure, but sometimes during a certain period, like heat wave or very cold winter spell, the utility simply are unable to deliver all the electricity into a high density area. So this is where Eloncity also we saw, because we produce energy locally in a decentralized manner, where load happening where and when they have, when and where those are needed. So we are able to solve those constraint problems that typically faced by even advanced centralized grid systems. So yeah, to answer your question, we'll be hopefully we'll be over the place in over the world, both in developing, underdeveloped country, as well as a very advanced developed area like California or New York, Massachusetts.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I saw you maybe retweeted that thing about how Denver is planning on being 100% renewable by 2030. So yeah, there are definitely places in the world that are taking it seriously.
Indeed. So historically, the utility has been focusing on using the network technology, but unfortunately, network is a network, and it has an optimum point, right? So any area that's sparsely populated, and in any area that's much more dense and populated. And the grid has its own problem. And then so what we believe is the Elon City models will be a very good complement to the infrastructure we have in today. Don't get us wrong. We have no intention to revolutionize our power infrastructure. We're simply making our power infrastructure a lot more better than what we have in today. And then our goal is not really going after the utility provider. Our goal is to help mankind to replace the fossil energy with the renewable.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. So I think we've covered everything, pretty much everything here. We've gone for a good while. Yeah, I wanted to thank you both for joining me for today for this interview. Definitely shared a lot of good knowledge. Definitely got the most comments I think I've ever gotten on a live stream, so that was pretty rad.
Thank you so much for having us. It's on a Friday night. You're supposed to have a really good time to the beach tonight.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, and I'll see you both around. All right. Peace.
Hey, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Cool.
Good night.
Yeah, let me just end this live stream, and then we'll be good. Let's see. There we go.